Hey the guys and welcome back. Got a ton of new stuff in the new dev stream. We're leaving a link to it if you guys just want to watch that in the description. That'll go to their Twitch page and then you can watch the actual dev stream. And I'll give you guys my thoughts on what happened during it. We got let's see, there were some things teased. They teased the new game mode again. But they won't tell us what it is. I'm guessing since they're adding, oh yeah, big thing, 109 new cards coming mid-December. They said mid-December or end of December. So yeah, that's a lot of new cards. Considering that we've only been getting 20 every 2 months, we're all of a sudden getting 109, and that should make us very like before. If you use a draft simulator, then you wouldn't have enough card. There wasn't enough cards in like the collection to really do draft mode. Now with 109 new cards, there's definitely going to be enough cards to make draft mode happen. So that is going to be awesome. Then we got also, they hinted at faction faction challenges. They said those would be coming like a week or two. They didn't really give us any info on them, but they just said, oh, faction, like faction versus faction challenges. So maybe that'll be like an extra daily reward thing. Who knows? That was just another thing that was hinted, but they also revealed 20 of the 109 new cards that are coming. So we'll start getting into those, and there's some crazy things coming. Lots of new mechanics that are like from other card games, but they actually are starting to implement them into this one. So we'll get right into it. We got it's the first one. Wyvern Scale Shield. Boost the unit by the initial power of a unit in your hand. Uh, this card, I don't think it's going to see much play. Of course, with some of the changes that are coming, we don't know. This card might end up being good, but in the current state we got, this card's not the greatest. I mean, you could use it maybe to save your succubus to monsters, but then people would like learn real quick that that's your plan and just kill it the first time right when you play it instead of waiting for the second turn like they usually do. So there's also a certain card that they revealed that this card seems like it would be really cool with if it works differently. But next we got Peasant Militia. Fill a row with peasants. Fill a row. So that's very important. We don't know what peasants are, but they're probably like 1 powers or 2 powers. But it says fill a row. So now there's going to be row limits. Like the number of units you can have on a row is going to be limited. If there's a card that says fill a row. So that's one of the big changes that are coming. There's also other changes coming too with the row thing that they hinted at, but they're not telling us much about it. But there you'll see as we move on. Like this next card, all the new cards, Lesser Demons, they don't have any little symbol to the left anymore of saying if they're agile or if they're committed to the siege row or the melee row. So they're going to be doing something big with rows and how rows work in Gwent, and that's going to be crazy. So yeah, this one though, this one's kind of cool. Move a unit from your deck to your hand, then discard a random card. It's a neutral silver 9 power. Could see it really being fun in Siri Dash discard decks. That's about it probably, because it's a random card that gets discarded. So you could end up discarding the card that you drew, which would kind of suck if you're using it to filter out that really important card. Or if you have like a ton of cards in your hand and you really need a card in your starting hand, I guess you could take the chance and just play them right off the bat. And then like you'd have a 1 in 9 chance of the card that you need being discarded. So this card would be probably a pretty good card in an opening for like an opening most decks, but the less and less cards you have in your hand, I'd say the more and more it's better for like a Skellige discard type of deck, and might not even see any play, but we don't know. This next card looks awesome, but it's just so wacky. I don't even know why you would want to do this, but we got Saskia Dragonfire. It's a Draconoid. We got some more Draconoids coming. Banish your hand and draw that many cards. So yeah, you don't like your hand, you can banish it and redraw everything, which, oh geez. I mean, I might want to run Avalok the Sage for the first couple days, just in case somebody's crazy enough to try to run this card, and then try to pull it with Avalok the Sage and just like self-mill myself. Because, yeah, this card is pretty weird. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be anything coming with like, oh, you banish this many cards, something happens. Who knows with that, but with the way they were saying that it's just there to like, if you don't like your hand, you can refresh it, and trying to like make players run more than 25 cards, then I don't think there's going to be any archetype for that. But the way this card is right now, yeah, pretty bad gold. Art is awesome, but no one would run this. There is no situation where I want to run a card that's going to banish my whole hand and make me mill myself. Geralt Yarden is next. It says 10 power on the preview site, but it was 5 power in the stream, and they said 5 power on the post, so I'm going with him being 5 power. It makes much more sense for what his ability is, because this card is ridiculous. Reset all units and remove their tokens. This means anything that's damaged gets healed. Anything that's boosted gets reset to 0. Anything that has resilience loses resilience. Anything with Quensign loses Quensign. Any locks get unlocked. Like, this basically just resets the field for everything that's on the field. And that's crazy. That is crazy if you make some decks around that. Like, if you run a Skellige strengthening deck or something, to where resetting your units would be good because you don't boost things. Then you face something where they boost their units or they're counting on carryover. Then you drop Geralt Yarden. Like... You just screwed everyone over. But, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I may have some fun and just run 4 Geralt golds in my deck. Because we got 4 now, so make a Geralt, straight up Geralt deck. So, yeah, this card looks like it's going to be really fun. Then we go on to monsters. Oh yeah, there's only 20 cards previewed right now. I don't remember if I said that or not, but... They're going to be previewing like 20 cards every week until the patch actually hits. So next, we got monsters. Some really cool, here's where some of the new effects start coming in. Werewolf, Unicurse Beast, he's immune. Strengthens self by 7 on contact with moonlight. Immune means that he's immune to any targeting abilities, like Elzur's Thunder, something that says, oh, target the unit and do damage to it. Also means your own targeting abilities like Swallow Potion, but he is not immune to things like Weather, or AoE like Lacerate, or something like Scorch. But the strengthened by 7 on contact with moonlight is pretty interesting, and I mean, immune's already a pretty good tag to have. So I'm wondering, they didn't tell us what moonlight is, like if it's a boon, if it's a card, or if like with the row unit changes that they're doing, they're gonna make the night and day or something, who knows. But yeah, strengthened by 7 on contact with moonlight, that's pretty cool, because that's a 14 power bronze. If like moonlight's a boon or something, depends on what moonlight does. We'll have to wait for that, but that's a pretty interesting card, definitely. Then we got Striga. Deal 8 damage to a non-monster unit. 13 power silver on the best day, if you're not facing a monsters deck. So, not that great, but what he did say was that this is great in the new game mode. He said that a couple times. In the new game mode, this card's great, but like... You won't tell us what the new game mode is. Just hurry up and tell me it's draft, please. But yeah, if draft is the new game mode, yeah, this makes sense being good in there, because just high base units and consistent base units that don't count on synergies with other cards are really good in draft mode. So, crappy and constructed, that'd be good in draft mode though. Then we got Weave. Next is Weave's Incantation. Choose one. They're adding a lot of choose one to a lot of cards so far. That is pretty cool, having to be able to choose different abilities for different situations. I really like cards like that. Situational cards are always my favorite. Then we got, our choices are strengthened all allied relics by 2, or play a bronze or silver relic from your deck and strengthen it by 2. Kind of weird. We'll have to see how many relics we get. Like, wait a minute, was this Striga a relic? Yeah, the Striga was a relic, so that's kind of cool. We are getting some more relic support with monsters, it seems like, with this new patch. So that's going to be a new archetype, which would be pretty interesting. I mean, the first one, I'm guessing it's only on the field, so you strengthen all the ones on the field by 2, or you get to filter out a Reltic and strengthen it by 2. Which, I mean, if you filter out the Fiend, the normal Fiend, and you have a Reltic in your hand, then that would be 17 power. 17 power play, not too bad. You could also filter out Crones. Wow, that'd be pretty crazy. You could use Weaves to filter out Weaves and get the other Crones. Yeah, that would be pretty funny, because then that would be a 26 power play. Holy crap. I mean, you'd have to use a gold and 3 silvers, but I mean, throw my disloyal unit over, and if they don't play anything that's more than 13 power, then I would drop a Weaves and just take the round if they pass me after that. That's pretty good. That's going to be a crazy card, I think. We'll have to see what else we get for the monsters. Now we get into Gnolf card. We got Viper School Witcher. Deal 3 damage, increase damage dealt by 1 for each alchemy card in your initial deck. So, it's not the alchemy cards that you have left, it's for all the alchemy cards that you run in the deck. Definitely going to be interesting. I mean, he's 10 power bronze if you don't run any alchemy cards. So really, you need to just run 3 alchemy cards and he's the 13 power bronze. You could just run 3 Thunderbolt potions. Who knows how many alchemy cards we're getting to do, because there's some new alchemy card that they've shown. Yeah, you can make a pretty sick deck with that, I think. Because with 3, he's the 13. So you run 6 alchemy cards, he's the 16 power bronze. That's pretty good. I mean, you have to have hit something that's 9 or low or higher, but that's still pretty crazy. This card's going to be really interesting. Then we got Catervan Venom. Special item. Choose one. Here's another choose one card. Deal 2 damage to an enemy and all units that share its categories, or destroy a bronze or silver neutral unit. This card's pretty crazy. I mean, okay, not crazy, neutral. That's right, it says neutral. It has to be a neutral bronze or silver unit. So, that's alright, but the deal 2 damage to an enemy and all units that share its categories might be interesting for theme decks. Like if you're facing Holy Cartel and they run a lot of elves or they run a lot of dwarves. So, you wait for them to swarm the field, you play this thing, boom. All dwarves take 2 damage. Might be pretty good. Just depend on other situations, like Northern Realms. I guess you could hit the soldier archetype, but they're usually running armor and they got some armor support in this new thing, so we'll have to wait and see. Like with all these cards, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, this one's pretty interesting. I mean, we can pick out which ones are probably going to be real crap. Letho Kingslayer, this guy is definitely going to be awesome. Destroy an enemy leader on the board and set self to 11. That's that's crazy. Like, wow. That first choice is just crazy. Or play a bronze or silver tactic card from your deck. So he can either be John Natalis or with 2 less power, which is but the destroy an enemy leader on the board and set self to 11. We don't know the power of the new leaders, but people are going to be running them for a bit. So I mean, if you pull a Letho Kingslayer right away, you'd really profit off him probably, because some of the new leaders are probably going to have pretty high power. I mean, right now, King Brown would obviously be your worst target, and he'd only be a 13 power gold in that situation. But I mean, you hit Francesca, he's an 18 power gold. You hit King Brown after he's been boosted by veterans. Yeah, doesn't really happen. So that situation's not great. But I mean, you hit John Colvette, that's 5. He seems like he's going to be pretty good. 16 value in that situation, and if they boost them or anything, then he's going to even get you more value. So Letho Kingslayer seems like he's going to be really good. Northern Realms is next. Winch. Spawn a bronze Northern Realms machine and boost it by 2. Okay, the way these cards work. This is another new thing that's coming. It's basically Discover from Hearthstone. You get 3 choices. It's going to be 3 random machines that you get to choose from, then you spawn one. And it won't be like, oh, you won't see Battering Ram, and then Ballista. You'll see Battering Ram, Ballista, and Trebuchet. And then you'll pick one of them, and you'll play it. So, I mean, it's RNG based because there is quite a few machines. So you get to pick one of the 3. And boost it by 2. Not sure if this card's going to see play or not. I mean, the boosting it by 2 is not really worth it because there's a lot of machines that you don't want to grab. Like there's quite a few crap machines and there's a couple good machines. So we'll see. Maybe in the full-blown machine Northern Realms deck. Then we got Vincent. Unit Cursed Beast. Destroy the armor of all units then boost self by half the value destroyed. This thing is going to be awesome. I mean, even in mirror matches, it's going to be like who drops their Vincent first. But now you can run a more heavily armored based Northern Realms deck. Because the way it was ever since they changed Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry, you haven't had a way to remove all that armor really. I mean, you have all these armor units, but you don't have many ways to remove the armor. Like Yennefer with the other guys who had 2 armor and then get boosted every time the armor is removed. That was pretty much one of the combos. And yeah, now we have this guy. He's a silver, so you can only run one of them, but he might make armor decks more viable if they come out with more cards like this. And this guy's pretty interesting because he's going to remove all the armor. He only gets boosted by half, but that means on your opponent's side too. So any of those gold units that usually protect themselves with armor, like the Froth Machine, Yennefer, Triss, stuff like that, Wild Boar of the Sea, all those cards, Ciri, the one that returns to your hand, there's plenty of them. So I mean, yeah, he'll eat that armor too, boost himself by half. Pretty interesting card. Then we got this card is really, this is a whole new system too. Seltkirk. Duel an enemy, 3 armor. Is a 7 power gold. Duel means that he's 7 power. So if you can actually target a unit to attack with him. That's basically what it means. It doesn't say on deploy yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be on deploy because that makes sense. But when you duel something, say it's 7 power, this thing basically has first strike. It's referred to as first strike in other card games because your card hits first before your opponent's does. They have 7 power, he's going to hit it, it's just going to kill it. It's going to be a 14 power gold in that situation. But say they have something like a 12 power card out, you play him, he's going to do 7 damage to it and gain 3 armor. Then that unit's going to turn around and do 5 damage back to him, destroying him, his armor and leaving him with 5 health. Then he's going to turn back around and do 5 damage back to it. So it's basically dueling is like you go back and forth and whoever dies first loses and then you get that value. So I mean, when you're attacking, I hope I explained that well, so I'm just going to try to explain it one more time. There's a 12 power unit. You do, because I know on the stream they didn't explain it well, but I mean, there's a 12 power unit. Then you attack it, you do 7 damage because you have 7 power. Like, it's all dependent on your power. And then you do that 7 damage to yours because you're the one dueling, you're the one with the duel card. So your damage goes first. Then that's going to leave it with 5 power, so it strikes back with that 5 power. Now, when you duel, you gain 3 armor with this guy. So he's going to take that 5 damage, which is going to bring him down to a 5. Then he's going to strike back and kill that thing off with its last 5 health, leaving him at 5 power and your opponent with no 12 power unit anymore. So, dueling system seems really interesting. They said there's a couple cards coming in with a dueling system. So that's going to be something new for sure. It's definitely interesting the way they implemented it. I'm guessing those weapons are going to have something to do with dueling, because the whole striking back and forth thing until one dies is pretty interesting for this type of game. I don't know if it's going to see much play, because I mean, on its best day, if you hit a 10, 11, or 12 power unit, it's going to be a 17 point gold that killed off that unit. But in other situations, it's going to be less, but you could also use him to kill off basically anything that has an annoying effect on your opponent's side of the field, because I mean, there's nothing with an annoying effect that's higher than 12 power, unless they boost it up. Then yeah, he's not going to take care of that. Like an Imperial Brigade that's up to like 20 something power, he's not going to be able to kill that. But still, he can take care of like basically anything, Farseers or anything like that. Pretty cool card. Now, Skullytal, half-elf hunter. Spawn a copy of this unit? Okay, I asked them because they made a post about Geralt Yarden being a 5 power and not a 10 power like they posted it on this site, and on the dev stream, Geralt was a 5 power. And on the dev stream, this half-elf hunter was a 6 power, but here it's a 3 power. So, not sure how much power this thing has yet, but I'm guessing if it spawns a base copy of it, it's going to be a 6 power, because that's 12 power bronze. That's really good, and it spawns 2 elves rushing you towards that 5 so we can filter out that silver elf. Or if it's 3 power, I'm guessing it's going to spawn a boosted unit, and this is like a more hand boosting type of card, because it doesn't really say on the flavor on the text yet, but I mean, it might support hand boosting, because you boost it up to like, okay, a 7 or something, then you're going to get 2 7 power units depending on how high you got to boost it. So that'll be kind of cool if that's the way it works too. Yeah, Scullytel cards aren't looking too great besides that one right now. We got Mullane next, deal 4 damage to the units on the end of a row. So you do 4 damage to the unit all the way to the left of the row, and 4 damage to a unit all the way to the right of the row of your choosing. There's only one unit on the row, she does 4 damage. So, best case, she's a 13 power silver. It seems like they're trying to like make silvers 13 powers now, but with things like Iris and your mage, there's plenty of silvers out there who are netting you way more than 13 value. So I don't see really 13 value silvers being ran. So I don't think she's that great, and especially because it's situational. Like, you need to have them have 2 units on a row on the left and the right side that have 4 or more health. And that's the thing with a lot of these cards, the way you place your units on a row is going to matter more, because you're going to be watching out for cards like this and some other cards that are coming. So row placement is definitely going to be more important, along with all the row changes that we're getting. Next we got Isengrim Outlaw. Choose one, spawn a silver special card or spawn a silver Scullytel unit. They said this card isn't for competitive play, it's more for just fun decks, sort of like Avalok the Sage, which is why it's so RNG heavily based. I mean, cards like this kind of scare me, because it's how Hearthstone started, was with their crappy RNG cards, but it seems like they know they're trying to keep the RNG cards in the non-competitive scene just for fun scene, which would be really cool, because that's how RNG cards should be, like completely RNG cards. They should be for people trying to have fun, not trying to be competitive. They shouldn't be so good that they, like, there's a card in Hearthstone that spawns you a random legendary every turn, and when you have like 50 legendaries in the game, it can spawn you any one of those 50 legendaries, and sometimes you can get really lucky and just get literally an unkillable board on your side of the field, because you get like 2 Kelsuzad to resurrect everything that dies at the end of the turn, and then you can't kill them both, so if you kill one, it's going to resurrect that Kelsuzad because you have another Kelsuzad. But yeah, enough about that. It's just, this card reminds me a lot of a Hearthstone card, and along with the whole discover ability that this thing has, because this thing is basically a discover ability, because when you spawn a silver special card, you're going to get to choose one of 3 randomly picked. You're going to see 3 spell cards, silver cards. Yeah, silver special card. You're going to see 3 of them, and you're going to be able to pick one. They're randomly picked. The 3 are randomly picked out of the whole pool. So that's how that option works. And then, or spawn a silver Scullytel unit. Same thing. You're going to get 3 options out of all the silver Scullytel units. So I mean, you could get really bad and get like Hattori, Broverhoog, and that thing that moves cards when you don't even count on that, and not have any dwarfs in your deck and have nothing for Hattori to revive, so that can happen too. I mean, yeah, discover cards are pretty popular in Hearthstone. This one's definitely not competitive. I mean, the only thing that I could see it maybe being kind of good in, if you want to play the risk, is Spellytel, because you get a 3 power body that plays another spell, and hopefully one of those 3 spells can help you. So maybe in Spellytel, really hope not. Really hope these RNG cards stay out of competitive and just stay in the fun zone, because that is where they are fun. That's why I like Avalok the Sage. He's fun. He's not competitive at all. Then we got Skellige, Bone Talisman. Choose one, resurrect a bronze beast, or heal an ally and strengthen it by 3. Pretty cool, because I mean, instead of giving armor, like the armor smith, he can heal it and strengthen it by 3, which is a strengthening card. That's pretty cool. Or resurrect a bronze beast. So I mean, that's more for the Cursed Skellige theme, definitely. Maybe you could run these instead of Priestess of Freya, or Priestess of Freya in these and resurrect your cursed units over and over again. That might be interesting. We'll have to see what other beast cards we get and stuff, but the heal an ally and strengthen it by 3, very situational where that's good. I mean, if Queensguard were still a thing, that might be really cool, but Queensguard is like non-existent because Graveyard Hate is so easy to pull off nowadays. So, I mean, if you're just using it for the heal an ally and strengthen it by 3, the Armor Smith is probably better because he has a 7 power body and he's going to give it armor too. So if you're just trying to counter something like weather, then he'd heal it and give it to armor, protect it from the armor of the weather a bit longer, and you'd have a 7 power body out too. So I don't know, we'll have to see. This card does seem interesting though. And then Skellige got some like monster card art here. Durin, whenever an enemy is damaged, boost this unit by 1. It's old school Axeman. It's exactly what Axeman used to be, except it's a silver card, so you can only run 1. Makes it a bit more manageable, so Axeman won't be OP. Well, yeah, I shouldn't say that yet, because they might become OP with a couple new cards and like this card, but the fact that it's 1 unit, because Axemen used to boost themselves by 1 every time a unit was damaged, didn't matter the row it was on, and that was just crazy because you'd have to like marjoram 3 of them, and it was pretty much impossible to deal with. Now that there's only 1 card that boosts itself when everything on the opposite row is damaged, or on the opponent's side of the field is damaged, then it's a lot more easier to deal with. All you need is 1 Mandrake. He might be really good though. He might be the thing that makes Axemen come back, because they've been kind of out of the meta for a bit. I mean, they try to make them work, but they're never really the greatest. I mean, especially if someone runs Weather Clear, because that's what they mostly count on now, is Harpooners and Weather, and just overpower your opponent that way. But now with things like this, they might become viable again. Who knows? I mean, I'd like them to be viable again. They were kind of fun, but I don't want them to be OP like they were. Then we got him. Brokefire Curse. Choose one. Play a cursed unit from your deck, or spawn a silver unit from your opponent's deck. He said this one also has the discover thing. So I guess you get to choose one of 3 silver units from your opponent's deck if they have 3 silver units in their deck. So that secondary effect is actually really strong against some decks. Like if you're facing a mirror match of Skellige, they're gonna run a Sigdrifa. Like if you manage to grab their Sigdrifa with his ability, wow, that could be really good in some situations. And the play a cursed unit from your deck, I mean, kind of cool that you can filter out Wilfred that way. And there is some other curse cards, like this Durin is cursed now. So yeah, it looks like we're getting some more cursed support. That seems kind of cool. And that is definitely the last card. This card looks awesome though, the him. And yeah, lots of new changes coming. New game mode, new faction, like it's crazy. He was lying when he said the biggest update, because we're not completely sure what's going on with the row changes yet. We do know that everything is basically agile in the game now, since there's no agile icon. But there's also going to be some changes to the way that rows work, like maybe a boost. Like if you play something on the melee row, this happens to him. If you play him on this row, this happens to him. Stuff like that. So the game's definitely going to change a lot coming up here. And then of course we're getting draft. I mean, it has to be draft. I'm going to keep saying that until it happens, because it needs to be draft. You can't drag it out this long and not make it draft now, guys. Yeah, so, and definitely some new effects that we got. We got the Discover mechanic coming. We got Choose One. Lots more Choose One cards. That's really cool. We got the Immune mechanic coming. And we got the Dueling mechanic coming. So, lots of new stuff to learn. And lots of stuff that are sorted in a lot of other card games. And I mean, more effects is always good. I like where they're going with this game now, because now it's definitely more in depth, and your plays are definitely going to matter more. I mean, like the way you place units on the board and everything. So, not sure what Moonlight is still. Not sure if it's a boon, or if like round 1 is going to be daytime, round 2 is going to be nighttime. Who knows? That's something else I'm really interested in with that werewolf card. But yeah, that's about it for this first set of updates. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, like, there's a card that you're really excited for, or one that you think's really OP, or you can just make fun of a card, like, what is that card's name? Sasuke Dragonfire. I don't know who came up with this card and just, yeah, let's make it a gold. Let's have them banish their whole hand and just regret ever running anything like this when they face Mill. Oh man, I might run a mill deck and just like when I deck out my opponent, just mill myself with Sasaki, make some trolled deck like that or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot of that's what looks cool about these cards so far. I mean, we only gotten 20 of the 109, and some of them seem viable, some of them seem really strong, some of them seem like fun deck types, and some of them seem totally whatever. But yeah, lots of stuff coming. That's about it though, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, have a good one.